Hello friends, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and I'm real excited to be here posting for CutCardStock today. Here is the sunflower card that I made, and I'm using their Royal Sundance fiber, both Kraft and sunflower, for this card, along with Cougar cardstock, of course, and then a wood grain cardstock for the pot. So I started with the Altenew Sunflower Daisy stamp set. This is one of my newest sets, and here is that sunflower fiber cardstock. Excuse me. And so I'm just going to start stamping sunflowers. So I've used a variety of yellows and oranges, and I used Altenew's new Harvest set, which I believe was a December release, for one set of the sunflowers. And then of course I also stamped in green and did the flowers, and also an orange color. So I'm stamping on Cougar cardstock, 80 pounds. So again, it works very well for stamping. It's got a nice smooth surface to it. So bear with me while I just kind of stamp along here. Go into my second layer here. I love Altenew florals. They have so many great layers, colors. It's just so much fun to play with. So just here kind of stamping along. Look at the depth that you can create using the different colors, always starting from light to dark. And it just adds all those individual little petals in there. And then here I am finishing stamp in the middle, using some of their browns, obviously. And so once I was finished, I ended up cutting out all of the flowers so that I then could pop them up on the card bases. So there we have the finished sunflowers. And here I've got all my pieces as parts, and I'm going to kind of play with them and add additional pieces. I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do. So I'm starting with the Kraft, and then this is a piece of that sunflower, and what I ended up doing was dry embossing it with a My Favorite Things brick stencil. And so I'm kind of playing with the sentiment. And I know that I want to put this in a pot. So here's my pot. It's created out of one of CutCardStock's wood grain cardstock, smooshed with vintage photo distress ink. And so here I'm using also that vintage photo to kind of just rough up the background, give it a little more texture and dimension. I can't leave anything be just plain flat card. That just doesn't work for me. I've always got to touch it up, add dimension, do something different with it. I did use one of the Spellbinders curved rectangle dies to create that centerpiece too. So now just kind of attaching my pot, and then I will arrange the flowers, and that little sentiment's going to go right there in the front. It says, "Smile, be focused, and intend excellence in all you do." So now I'm just kind of trying to arrange the sunflowers and get a pleasing arrangement. And once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and glue them all down. Still working with them. And then I actually ended up having some extra sunflowers, etc. So I made a second card using a rounded square die from My Favorite Things, and then arranged the flowers on top of that. And then I used a We Are Memory Keepers background. You'll see that when I show you the picture. It's kind of a basket weave type background. But anyway, I'm almost done with this now. Adding all the leaves kind of in that triangle. You know, you should always arrange things in a triangle. So there's my triangle. Couldn't quite decide which color I was going to use. How was I going to do this? But ended up, again, inking the edges of that one and popping it up with a piece of foam tape. So all the products I used are listed on my blog, so feel free to check that out. They're also on CutCardStock's blog. Both places you can find them. So here I am just kind of trimming it off. And there's my card, and I'm just showing you here that I did end up having extra pieces. And so I made that second card. So you can see I've got that basket background and then that rounded square piece from My Favorite Things. So here again is the final card. Thanks so much to CutCardStock for sponsoring this. Again, this is Terry with Terry's Mailbox. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Blogger, and have a YouTube channel. Come follow me.